Greetings to all of the fans of the Rage of the Stage players, as well as those who are simply curious about the dramatized play reading that we're about to present to you via live stream for the very first time. We're happy that you've joined us this evening for our twisted, more adult-oriented take on a childhood classic. Dorothy and Oz was first written in 2009 and premiered here in Pittsburgh, PA the same year. Since that time, it's enjoyed success both nationally and internationally and still stands as one of Rage's most popular and requested plays. As such, it seemed like the perfect choice for our inaugural live stream reading. On behalf of myself, Jim Schoberg, my partner in Theatrical Indecency, Carrie Schoberg, and the multi-state cast who've lent their talent to this event, I invite you to sit back, relax, and leave your morals at the door as the Rage of the Stage players proudly... Oh. Damn it. Seriously? Proudly. It was supposed to be a placeholding adverb until I could find something more appropriate. Brazenly? Shamelessly? Bear with me for just a second. Thesaurus.com is taking its sweet ass time. Oh, well, fuck it. Proudly. Yeah. Proudly. We have so little to cling to. The Rage of the Stage players proudly present Dorothy and Oz. Dorothy in Oz, a play by James Michael Schoberg, inspired by characters created by L. Frank Baum. Cast of characters: Katie Grant as Dottie, a mentally disturbed 17-year-old who has been involuntarily committed to the Oslin Center, a psychiatric institute in Kansas. Alyssa Herron as Aunt M, Dottie's aunt and legal guardian. Carrie Schoberg as Mrs. Good and Glinda, Dottie's flaky therapist. Jen James as Dr. Green and the Wicked Witch of the West Wing, the insensitive doctor in charge of Dottie's case, as well as the antagonist in Dottie's hallucination. Ryan Ott as Scarecrow, a goth rocker suffering from severe drug dependence. Ryan Ott as Scarecrow, a goth rocker suffering from severe... Ryan! Ryan, over here! Oh, for the love of... Moving on. Alex Blair as Rusty, a heartless ruffian with anger issues. Dave Joseph as Mr. Lyons, an overweight sexual deviant with, quote, performance issues, unquote. Sean Davies as Grunt, one of the Wicked Witch of the West Wing's henchmen, a college student undergoing high-dose anabolic steroid testing. Violet Hunt as Twitch, another henchman, a college student undergoing electroconvulsive therapy testing. Eric Thompson as Swish, a third henchman, a college student undergoing female compound hormone testing. Paige Moody as Ms. Gates, the receptionist for the Great Oz. And Mr. Bill Herring, the Great Oz, and Dr. Oslin, the mysterious man whom Dottie and her friends seek for aid. Setting: the Oslin Center, Kansas, USA. The play begins. Act 1, Scene 1. Before the lights rise, somewhere over the rainbow from the Wizard of Oz begins to play.
Toto, shut the fuck up!
Aunt Em, a frustrated middle-aged woman, stands in an illuminated area on one side of the stage. Dottie, a 17-year-old girl, sits on the edge of a hospital bed in a more dimly lit area on the opposite side of the stage. There is a chair near the bed. Dottie is dressed in hospital pajamas and a pair of silver shoes.
Dr. Baum, 2 admissions, please. Dr. Baum, 2 admissions. Thank you.
Mrs. Good, an eccentric therapist, enters the illuminated area where Aunt Em is standing.
Mrs. Gale?
Yes, doctor.
Oh, I'm not a doctor. I'm a therapist. I've been assigned to, Dorothy, is it? Please forgive me. It's been a very hectic morning here at the center. We had a rather messy suicide attempt. Teenagers, anything for attention.
Excuse me?
Not to insinuate that your Dorothy is like that, acting out for the sake of attention, I mean. No, not at all. Here at the Oslin Center, we take matters of mental hygiene very seriously. And believe me when I say that you have made a wise decision because we have a superb psychiatric program.
Well, that is comforting to hear, Miss.
It's Mrs., actually. I'm married. Well, was married. I'm divorced. Well, in the process of getting divorced, separated technically. Well, as if this precise moment, I guess it doesn't work out for everyone. Not in the cards for me. He says my jaw clicks when I chew, drives him crazy. Though crazy isn't really a word we like to use around here. Do you think it's strange that I mentioned all of that just now? Well, I guess we each have our own little problems, but rest assured that will in no way hinder my ability to focus on the needs of your daughter.
Niece.
Pardon?
Dorothy is my niece, not my daughter.
Isn't that what niece?
Yes, niece. Mrs.
Good. Mrs. Good.
All right then, Mrs. Good. Yes, Dorothy is my niece.
And her parents?
Passed on. Her Uncle Henry and I are her legal guardians.
Passed on. And this was on your side of the family?
Oh, God, no! Oh, Henry's brother? Whew, total white trash.
Oh, how unfortunate. And it was you and Mr. Gale who had Dorothy, who brought her here to the center?
Yes. See, Dorothy came to us a very damaged girl, and she seems to be getting worse and worse with these severe mood swings and rebellious behavior. She's even confessed to having self-destructive thoughts.
And I see here that she's been hearing voices.
Well, not voices exactly.
Not voices exactly?
Barking.
I don't follow.
She hears barking. You know, it's even been known to keep her up at night. You see, several Christmases ago, we bought her a dog that she named Toto.
Oh.
You know, he really seemed to perk her up for a while.
Oh.
But this summer, he got loose, and my husband, he backed over him with the car.
Oh.
He might have survived had Henry not, pulled back in to see what the loud thump was.
Oh. Oh, that's just awful. What kind was he?
Sharpay. Pressed all of the little wrinkles right out of him. Well, ever since, she says she can still hear him barking.
Oh, she's really had a rough time of it.
We've tried getting help for her, but she's so resistant. We're running out of options.
Oh, I can assure you, Mrs. Gale, if anyone can help your Dorothy, we can. This is the finest facility of its kind in Kansas. Dr. Oslin is truly wonderful, and this center is a product of his commitment to his patients.
When can I speak with him?
Oh, I don't know about that. As head of the center, Dr. Oslin is a very busy man, but Dorothy will be in capable hands, I'm sure. Well, let's see here. Dorothy will be treated by Dr. Green.
Dr. Green, is that not good?
Come this way, Mrs. Gale. We'll have you fill out some paperwork, and then we can get you in to see Dorothy.
Mrs. Good and Aunt Em turn to exit, but the intimidating figure of Dr. Green steps on stage, blocking their path.
Mrs. Good,
Dr. Green,
where are you headed?
to fill out some paperwork.
And would that folder you're clinging to be the Gale file, for which I've had my nurses scrambling?
Yes, the Gale file. I didn't know you were looking for it.
I'm not. anymore. Thank you.
Dr. Green, I'm Emily Gale, Dorothy's aunt. I was hoping to speak with you.
Yes, and I you, Miss Gale.
I wanted to let you know how hard this whole situation has been on Dorothy. And
I'm sure, Mrs. Gale. I'm going to level with you. Dorothy is not the first young person to be brought in here against her will, nor will she be the last. What separates the fortunate patients, however, is their family's willingness to do absolutely anything to help them.
well, I'm certainly willing.
Excellent. Now, the file that was placed. I saw that Dorothy has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, as well as anxiety. These are becoming quite common among young people her age, but that doesn't make it any less difficult to deal with. I see from her pharmacological histories that our Dorothy has been on quite a number of medications.
Yes, and her psychiatrist thought she was finally at a therapeutic level, but recently, with her thoughts racing, well, he was the one who recommended that we consider bringing her here.
Well said. If I too may make a recommendation, Mrs. Gale, I wouldn't give up on the medicinal treatment just yet. I feel that a new drug we are testing, psychotherapy, may help her to govern her feelings a bit better. However, it is still in the trial stages. I would need your permission to treat her with it.
Glazil, but what about the side effects? Perhaps you should let me spend a few sessions with her first. I really believe that talk therapy may benefit Dorothy much
No more little dialogues have their place, or so Dr. Oslin believes. You must realize that the body is a balanced collection of chemical systems. And when even one of those systems is out of balance, it can have severe repercussions. No amount of chatting up the patient will change that. And that is why we must treat a chemical problem chemically.
I don't know, Dr. Green. I'm not really comfortable testing anything on Dorothy.
Further testing, Mrs. Gale, further testing. Rest assured that the drug's initial trials have been noteworthy. In addition, using it to the benefit of your niece is only the beginning. If approved, it could help many others cope with the same issues that your Dorothy deals with. I just need your signature to proceed.
Mrs. Gale, perhaps you should discuss it with your husband first.
Good. Why don't you look in on the patient? Mrs.
But
Gale will be along directly. Directly, Mrs. Good.
Mrs. Good exits.
I can assure you, the sooner that we place Dorothy on the cyclocills, the sooner we can relieve her of her mental strain. And you needn't worry about it being covered. The center will shoulder the expense regarding this treatment with this particular drug. I just need your approval.
She hands Aunt Em the clipboard and a pen. Aunt Em looks at the form clipped to it, then at Dr. Green, and then back at the form. Dr. Green guides the hand in which Aunt Em is holding the pen downward until she finally signs it. The sound of a door opening is heard. Mrs. Good enters the dimly lit area in which Dotty sits on her bed. She pantomimes introducing herself to Dotty.
Very good, Mrs. Gale. We'll start her immediately. Now, if you'll just wait us into the hall, Mrs. Good will be along and...
When may I see Dorothy?
It won't be long.
Act 1, Scene 2. The lights rise on the area in which Dotty sits on her bed. Dr. Green enters, carrying Dotty's file and a clipboard.
Miss Gale? I'm Dr. Green, and I'll be treating you while you're here.
Well, I hope you'll be treating me better than anyone else has. Where's my aunt? I want to go home. You can't keep me here.
Miss Gale, your aunt and uncle were concerned with your safety. You were committed to the care of this facility until you are no longer at risk to yourself. It's important that you understand that. Do you deny that you made threatening remarks regarding your own safety to your family? It says here, and I quote,
I remember what I said, and I quote, sometimes I feel like I could just drive our car off the side of a cliff. I was frustrated, going off steam. Jesus, people say stuff like that all the time. I wouldn't even know where to find a cliff if I did plan on going through with it. Besides, you can't take someone's freedom away just because of what they're thinking.
Won't yet. Here you are. Behaviors develop through thought patterns, Miss Gale. If we were to simply ignore the disconcerting statements of a mentally unstable youth, we would be severely remiss now, wouldn't we?
And silly me. I was under the impression that we live in a country where you're free to express how you feel.
Your aunt and uncle were concerned with your well-being, and making decisions regarding the psychiatric care for our loved ones is neither easy nor arbitrary.
Wow, that's just really profound, Doc. I bet that would look great in a pamphlet for this place.
You're right. It does. After all, I wrote it.
Look, bottom line, how long do you plan on keeping me locked up?
That remains to be seen. If you are a willing participant in your own treatment, it may not be long at all. As it stands, you will be here for at least 1 week of observation.
A week?
Or longer, if you choose to make things difficult for yourself.
Where's my aunt? I want out of here now! Now!
Aunt Em enters hurriedly from the same direction as Dr. Green. She embraces Dottie in an attempt to quiet her.
Dorothy, calm down. I'm right here. The only thing we want is to help you.
This is what you call help? Locking me away? Is that how you deal with your family shame? Bury it?
Dorothy, please.
Don't call me that. I told you how much I hate it. Dorothy is so ugly. Why can't you just call me Dottie like my friends do?
Oh, no, sweetheart. Dorothy's a lovely name.
Thanks, Emily.
Well, that's not very respectful.
How does it feel to have someone call you something you hate? It sucks, doesn't it, Emily?
Then Dottie it is. There's no need to argue the point.
Dottie, where did you get those silver shoes?
Yes, they're very nice. Though I heard you gave them some real trouble in admissions when they tried to take them from you. We don't normally let them keep them, Mrs. Gale, but from what I hear, your Dottie made quite a point of keeping them.
Dr. Green exits in the direction she entered.
That's because I knew I'd never see them again. And I love them!
I don't remember seeing those before. We didn't buy them for you. Where did you get them?
Eastern Shoes at the mall. They went out of business last week.
And how did you pay for them?
Aren't they cute? The last pair in this color, and just my size too. They also came in red, but I doubt anyone would have gone out of their way to get their hands on those gaudy things.
You still haven't told me how you paid for them, Dottie.
5-finger discount?
Dr. Green enters holding 2 small plastic cups. One contains water and the other contains pills.
Dottie, really? Shoplifting? Again? This behavior of yours has got to stop.
Well, what was I supposed to do? The banner said everything must go. So they went into my backpack.
Mrs. Gale, petty theft, though unacceptable, can be very common among the bipolars. Part of the manic phase. Reprimanding her for it at this point seems a bit moot, don't you think?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Dottie, I'm going to need you to take these. And it's very important that you are honest when you convey to me how it makes you feel, because I'll be recording it closely.
What is it?
It's called Cyclazoo, and it will help you manage the whirlwind of emotions which have been playing havoc with your life. It's meant to have a very calming stabilizing effect.
What about my other medication?
You let me worry about that. But right now, just take these. I promise it will suppress those dark thoughts of yours and carry that sweet head of yours to the other side of the rainbow.
I don't know.
Dottie instinctively brings her arms up, nearly knocking the water from Dr. Green's hand. Some of it spills.
You almost made me spill this on myself. This is silk after all.
I'm sorry. Just please don't make me take anything else. Aunt Em?
Remember what I told you about cooperating? It will affect how soon you will be released. Now, if you just stop fighting and surrender, Dorothy,
Dottie.
I believe you'll find the experience much less traumatic.
Doctor, are you certain about all this?
Right. Certain. Here you are.
She hands the 2 plastic cups to Dottie.
That'll help you,
Dr. Green lifts up Dottie's head by her chin. She then gently taps on Dottie's forehead.
And your little dog, too?
Dorothy swallows the pills and the water and then hands the cup back to Dr. Green.
Aunt Em, please tell them I'm okay. I want to go home with you.
Honey, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Gale, I think we should let her get some rest. The medication can be very sedating.
Dr. Green guides Dottie's head back to her bed. Dottie resists and calls to Aunt Em.
I'm sorry I yelled at you.
Oh, Dottie!
I want to go home.
Mrs. Gale?
Dr. Green gestures for Aunt Em to exit. Aunt Em nods. Dr. Green eases Dottie into the lying position on her bed.
Like that now.
It won't be long.
I just want to.
Oh, I know, sweetheart, I know. There's no place like home, is there?
Aunt Em leans down and kisses Dottie on the forehead. Dottie begins to drift off to sleep. Dr. Green stands at the edge of the stage and clears her throat to signal for Aunt Em to join her. Aunt Em places Dottie's hand back on the bed and exits. Transitional music begins to play to signify the beginning of Dottie's hallucination. The current hospital room lights fade and are replaced with multicolored lights which pulsate rhythmically from one color to another, leaving Dottie bathed only in green light. Fade to black. Act 1, Scene 3. The lights rise on Dottie's area. She is still lying on her bed and begins to stir. She opens her eyes and sits upright.
Where? Oh, fuck me, the hospital. I'm still here. I can't believe Aunt Em and Uncle Henry did this to me. I'm not crazy. Toto? Oh, be quiet.
The sound of a door creaking open is heard.
Hello? Hello? Can I get something for my head? It's pounding. Hello? Where is everyone?
Mrs. Good, now Glinda, enters dressed in a more dramatic Aussian attire. She crosses the stage toward Dottie without noticing her.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Startled, Glinda trips, drops her files, and falls to the floor. She clambers to recover them.
Hello, I didn't see you there. Forgive my clumsiness. I don't know where my head was. Sometimes I think I walk around this place in a big bubble all my own.
Can you help me? I really need to.
I am a therapist. Helping is what I am all about. I make life more tolerable.
I just need to.
Road without direction.
I was hoping that you could help me.
Assisting them to develop the skills needed.
Yes, but
The stress of everyday life.
well, I was hoping that you could tell me.
Are you one of my patients? With my caseload, I can't seem to keep that straight recently.
Actually, I don't.
Wait, don't tell me. You're the one who thinks there's a city of little people living in her backyard. No, that's not right. You must be the one who thinks there's a dead woman under her house, huh? No. Well, I know you're not the one who hung herself in the forest.
Ma'am, I'm a new patient here. I think, though, somehow things look different. My head is so cloudy. It must be the medication.
A new patient! How exciting! Oh, the talks we'll have! New crises to confront, new personal obstacles to overcome, new deeply rooted issues concerning who touched you where when you were 7. But I couldn't possibly see you today. My schedule booked solid. Perhaps we could arrange something next week.
Wait. This place is different. Did they move me? And where is everyone?
A breakdown. Are you having a breakdown? Because I haven't tackled a really challenging breakdown in months. Months. That would be fantastic. For a breakdown, I'd be willing to squeeze you in on Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Though I may have to skip lunch.
What hospital is this?
You poor thing. You are having a breakdown. This is Oz, dear.
You mean Oslin?
No, just Oz. And you couldn't find yourself in a finer facility.
Oz. Look, my name's Well, I guess my record would say Dorothy Gale, and whatever you call this place, dear, I don't belong in here.
Hello, I'm Glinda. If we're going to establish a safe environment based on mutual trust, you should call me by my first name.
Dottie.
I thought you said it was Dorothy.
It is, but I go by Dottie.
Ooh, identity issues. I should make a note of that.
As I was saying, I don't belong here.
A decision that is best left to the professionals.
Which is why I want to talk to whoever's in charge. I just have to explain.
Well, that would be the great Oz himself. He's just wonderful. He's also our chief administrator here, and he has final approval on all discharges.
And where can I find him?
Oh, that would be quite impossible. In order to see the great Oz, you would have to make an appointment just to make an appointment. He's an extremely busy man, notorious for canceling.
What makes him so great and wonderful then?
Because he's a real wizard when it comes to the mechanics of the human mind. He's the top man in his field. That's what keeps him cloistered away in his office. He's always looking for new and exciting ways to intervene, the ways to treat mental illness. And running a facility of this size is no small feat either.
Look, I don't care if I need an appointment or not. I want out of this place.
I really don't think it's a good idea for a patient to decide when
You're right. You're right. What was I thinking? I'm sure the last thing an important man like that would need is to be bothered by someone like me.
Now that sounds like the thinking of a rational young lady. Oh, what a shame.
Besides, I wouldn't even know where to begin to find his office.
That, well, it's actually a pretty inconvenient walk. What with the current hospital construction and the elevator repairs. You see those dingy yellow tiles on the floor there? See the different colored tiles on the floor there? Well, each row leads to a different area of the hospital. The dingy yellow tiles lead to the administrative wing. It's a bit of a jaunt, but you couldn't miss his office. It's got huge doors with emerald green glass in them. Now, before you go back to your room, let me pencil you in for an appointment.
Dottie exits quietly while Glinda looks through her bag.
So, how about if we meet Dottie? Dottie! Oh, well. Thursday.
She exits. Fade to black. Act 1, Scene 4. The lights rise on several hospital waiting room chairs. Scarecrow, a dark figure bound in a raggedy black straitjacket, tight pants, and black boots, is sitting on one of the chairs. His head is slumped forward. He is twitching as if having a nightmare and talking softly to himself.
The crows everywhere. Go! Go!
Oh, Toto,
The
give
sound
it
of
a
a small
rest.
dog barking is heard. Dottie enters holding her head, but does not yet see Scarecrow.
Toto, give it a rest.
Crows.
Hello?
Go!
What did they do to you?
No! Not the eyes!
What the?
No time for autographs. I have to meet a guy in the alley about some top quality. Whoa! Where am I? Hey, babe. You look like you just read your own obituary. What's wrong?
Oh, it's the makeup. I guess I just wasn't expecting it. I like it though.
Thanks. I like it too. Did it myself. Oh, guys, not again! Come on! Hey, babe. You want to help me? Do you think you could unbuckle these sleeves?
Well, I'd like to. I would, but I don't usually make a habit out of unbuckling straitjackets. Oh, it's not a personal thing, you understand. It's sort of a blanket policy I have for anyone I randomly meet.
Scarecrow sighs, defeated, and struggles with his restraints. Dottie rolls her eyes at the pathetic sight and relents.
You win, but if you decide to wear my face as a mask, you'll have to promise you'll kill me before you take it.
You got it. Anything for the ladies? Wait, what?
Never mind.
I'm a mess when I'm coming down. Heroin withdrawal.
Heroin withdrawal. Do they put people in straitjackets for that?
Probably not. This one's mine. I wear it on stage. I front for a golf band, Murder on the Wing, but I'm sure you've heard of us.
Nope, can't say that I have.
Oh, well, we're still up and coming. Name's Evan Grimm, but you can call me Scarecrow. 2Ks.
I'm Dottie. Tooties.
Sexy. I dig it.
Unable to support himself on his shaky legs, he collapses forward. Dottie runs to him.
Are you all right?
Did I scare you?
No, I just thought you hurt yourself.
So I didn't scare you? Fuck! I'm losing my touch.
Scarecrow makes multiple failed attempts to come to his feet, but each time he falls back to the floor.
Can you help me up?
So why were you bound up in a straitjacket if it's yours?
Well, if I was going through my usual heavy shakes, my band must have tied me up to keep me from hurting myself and then dumped me here. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, I know what it feels like to crash.
You a junkie?
No, bipolar.
Lucky. At least you got the ups too. I just get depression myself. Takes the stuffing right out of me. And it's a hard symptom to treat since hell dust is so damn addictive. Of course, it doesn't help that I have no self-control. Nope. None. Not even a little. Before I got kicked out of rehab for the 4th time, my counselor told me all the recreational drugs I've done must have completely fried my brains. And you'd be surprised what I've done to score some H, babe. I mean, I've gone that way. And I've gone that way. What? Don't look at me like that. When they're desperate enough, some people do go both ways.
Scarecrow
Hey!
gets dizzy and stumbles back into one of the chairs. It falls backwards. Dottie crosses to help him. He notices her shoes.
Nice shoes. They're really shiny. So, where are you headed now, hottie?
Dottie.
I know.
Well, I'm going to see this Great Oz. He's supposed to be the head of this place. I'm hoping I can talk him into releasing me.
The head of this place, huh? Do you think if I went with you, this guy might have some ideas about how to help me with my willpower?
He might at least offer some advice. Even if you couldn't, you'd be no worse off than you are now.
Well then, to Oz.
To Oz.
They both start to exit and Scarecrow falls flat on his face.
Ow, my fucking face.
Dottie starts to help him up. Fade to black. Act 1, Scene 5. The lights rise on a hospital gurney. Rusty, a ruffian dressed in black and silver biker attire, covered with various studs and spikes, is lying on it unconscious and handcuffed to the rail by one arm. He has a silver mohawk, an abundance of facial and ear piercings, and a bloody bandage on his forehead. Dottie and Scarecrow enter.
Are you sure we're headed in the right direction?
I was told to follow the dingy yellow tiles. So I guess we're on the right track.
Hey.
What?
There's someone over there.
Looks like he's out cold.
Not necessarily. I mean, look at all the metal in his face. Maybe he's just rusted. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I can see you're in stitches.
Oh, where the hell am I? Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are we? Well, this is fucking Dottie and I'm the fucking Scarecrow.
2 fucking Ks.
Thanks.
Anytime.
Who the fuck are you, metalhead?
Russell Tinneman, but they call me Rusty.
Ha, Rusty. See? Told ya.
Rusty. That's cute.
Rusty, enraged, bolts upright and hits the ground running, dragging the gurney behind him. Dottie falls back against Scarecrow.
It's not cute. It's my name, you bitch.
Hachi.
So what's with the handcuffs?
Cops brought me in. I got in a bar fight and I put a guy through a plate glass window.
You got drunk and put a guy through
Are
a...
you deaf? I didn't say I got drunk. He was sitting in my usual seat when I got there. Yeah, I've been told I got anger issues.
No shit.
Anyhow, it took 5 officers to bring me down. 5. They had to sedate me when I got here. Oh yeah, that's the last thing I remember until I woke up and saw you standing there in your pajamas and whatever the hell that scrawny thing is.
Dottie turns to look at Scarecrow and he turns to look behind himself. Not seeing anyone, he turns back to Dottie and shrugs, grinning. Dottie turns back to Rusty and indicates the bandage on his forehead.
Cops really did a number on my head, huh? They must have patched me up. Hey, you, stick boy.
It's Scarecrow.
Yeah, 2 fucking Ks, I remember. Great. Why don't you make yourself useful?
You don't have to be a jerk.
Then give me credit for going the extra mile. Look and see if you can find an axe laying around here somewhere, will you?
An axe? Why would there be an axe?
Just do it!
You got it, Rusty.
I need to break these cuffs.
Even if you manage to break them, they're not going to let you walk out of here.
Look around, doll. I don't see anyone who's going to stop me. You 2 certainly couldn't.
Scarecrow enters again with a rusty axe. He is barely able to support it with his unsteady legs.
Ah, there she is. There's my baby.
It was over by the nurse's station.
Dumb pigs left it behind.
You carry an axe around with you.
Everywhere I go.
Rusty reaches for the axe, but Scarecrow's involuntary swaying keeps moving it just out of reach. He lunges and snatches the axe away from Scarecrow with his free hand.
Give me that. Listen, let's just say it has...
He starts to pry the cuffs attached to the gurney open with the blade of his axe.
It has
The cuffs break, leaving one half of them still attached to his wrist.
Sentimental value.
How does an axe have sentimental value?
Pop used it to kill Mom.
Oh, family heirloom.
Yep, I was 11. Fucker didn't get me, though. Not that he didn't try.
Rusty lifts up his shirt, revealing a huge scar on his side left by the axe. He smiles arrogantly and turns his head away as he continues to expose the scar. He addresses Dottie.
Go on. Touch it. I know you want to.
Scarecrow slowly approaches Rusty and reaches for it.
Aw, gross.
Not you. Her. The chicks always want to touch it. They love scars.
Oh, you sure have us figured out, Romeo. But I'll pass for now, if it's all the same to you. Maybe later.
It'll still be here.
Jeez, no wonder you're so screwed up. Is it cold in here? It feels cold. I'm cold. Is anyone else cold? Well, not you, you're hot, but me, I'm cold.
Anyway, ever since then, I haven't felt a thing inside. Well, nothing but rage. I'm numb otherwise. Just heartless, I guess.
He now notices that Scarecrow is leaning forward and staring blankly with his mouth agape.
What's his problem?
Heroin addiction. Bipolar. We're on our way to see Oz, the head of the hospital. I'm looking to be discharged, and Scarecrow is looking for some help with his willpower. Why don't you come with us? If he's as sharp as they say, well, I'm sure he could help you deal with all that aggression.
Why the hell not? What about the stumbling dead over there? Is he going to make it?
Dottie crosses to Scarecrow. She considers dabbing his mouth with the sleeve of her pajamas, but thinks better of it. She takes hold of the sleeve of his straitjacket and uses it instead.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
The crows, they're laughing at me.
No. They're laughing with you.
But I'm not laughing.
Come on.
Dottie helps Scarecrow off as they exit. Rusty watches the two of them, shakes his head, throws his axe over his shoulder, and exits close behind them. Fade to black. Act 1, Scene 6. Dottie enters. After a moment, the sound of glass breaking is heard. Dottie looks off stage in the direction she entered. Scarecrow enters, followed by Rusty. Rusty is holding a handful of candy bars and a bag of M&Ms.
Sorry, I haven't eaten all day, so I hit the vending machine.
He means that too.
I didn't have any change. Besides, I'm not paying $1.25 for a fucking candy bar.
He starts to eat the candy bar. Then he pauses for a moment and offers some of the candy to Dottie, who graciously declines. He then turns to Scarecrow and offers him some.
How about you? You look like you could use something to eat.
No thanks. I had one yesterday.
Yeah, you'd better not. All that sugar might cause you to start blinking.
He finishes the candy bar, throws the wrapper on the floor, and stuffs the rest into his pocket. The sound of a toilet flushing is heard. Dottie, Scarecrow, and Rusty all look to one another. Mr. Lyons enters. He is a shaggy mess wearing a jungle print shirt which hangs open over a t-shirt. He is also wearing a pair of baggy shorts and sandals over socks. He is drying his hands on his t-shirt.
Woo! I'd give that one about a half an hour, boys. It's a jungle in there. Woo! I always regret going Mexican for lunch, but it's so damn good.
He sizes up Scarecrow and Rusty.
Nice outfits. Ooh, and you. You, I could do some damage to.
Excuse me?
Relax, honey. Just checking.
Ew.
He offers her his hand.
Harry Lyons.
She recoils, refusing to take his hand. He shrugs and offers it to Scarecrow and Rusty, both of whom refuse it as well.
So why are you here, Mr. Lyons?
Call me Harry.
I'd rather not.
Suit yourself, Toots. Well, since you asked, it's sex addiction. Big fan of porn. Big fan. Hey, there's nothing wrong with porn.
Gotta agree with him.
He's right.
Men.
It's the quantity I was burning through that did the damage.
Damage?
You heard me, son. I try and I try. But I just can't get my Winky to stand at attention. Yep. Impotent.
Rough.
You're damn right. Just be thankful you two are still young and full of jizz.
Look, disgusting as this story is, we really need to be going.
Oh, where you heading?
We're going to see the Great Oz.
Oh, the big guy, huh?
You know him?
Of him. You don't get a place this size named after you unless you're doing something right. Hey, mind if I tag along?
Sure.
Whatever.
Would you excuse us? Oh, boys. Boys, I really don't want to drag this old pervert along with us.
Oh, you got a feel for him.
Why exactly?
You know.
Voted, huh? I guess you have to have a dick. Or be one. To empathize. What do you expect Oz to do to you anyway?
No, I don't know. Maybe a little something to give me a little courage.
Fine. Dottie.
Rusty.
Scarecrow, 2Ks. It's my stage name.
Got that, Lions? His stage name. Today's Hophead fun fact.
Well, it's good to meet you.
Well, golly gee, that's just swell. Now everyone knows each other. Can we quit jawing and get going already?
Rusty storms off, nearly knocking over Mr. Lyons.
Yes, please.
Scarecrow exits with Dottie close behind. Mr. Lyons follows her with his eyes.
Following that tight little ass of yours, I can think of worse ways to spend my time. Yep, I can definitely think of worse ways.
He smirks, smells his fingers, and hurries off after them. Fade to black. Act 1, Scene 7. The lights rise on stage. Glinda enters carrying a hospital chair and humming Out of the Woods from The Wizard of Oz. She sets it down and exits. She immediately enters again with another hospital chair, sets it down next to the first, and exits again. She repeats this process with 2 more hospital chairs. Once all 4 hospital chairs are on stage, Glinda begins to straighten them. She continues to hum until Dottie, Scarecrow, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons enter.
My next session, come in. Let's get started.
Glinda?
Hurry along now.
Who's this broad?
She's my, I suppose she's my therapist? Sort of. Her name is Glinda.
Yes, I'm Glinda. Now, if you'd each just take a seat, we can begin.
Begin what?
Why, the guided imagery session, of course.
I did what now?
Imagery, Mr. Tinneman, imagery.
Wait, how do you know his name?
She's a knock! I knew it! Go ahead and search me. You won't find anything. This baby doesn't have any pockets.
There's no need to get excited, Mr. Grimm. When I started a file on you, Miss Gale, I pulled the files on the others as well. As I mentioned, you, all of you, are my next session.
But how could you have known that?
Questions are certainly welcome, my dear. They are, after all, the very key to a deeper understanding. Questions like, what is my purpose here? And who am I, really?
Oh, where am I? I get that one a lot on Sunday mornings when I wake up in the stairwell with piss-soaked tights and dry puke on my face. But I'm sure we've all been there.
Yes, as I was saying, questions are certainly welcome, but best left until after we've completed the exercise.
Exercise.
It's not what you think, fat ass.
And a beneficial way to start our group work is by picturing a serene and safe environment in which you can feel free to expose yourselves.
Don't. Just don't.
Well, it all sounds like a bunch of psychological bullshit to me.
Yeah, I'm with the chain link charmer over here. I don't really go for all that.
Now, boys, let's have open minds about this.
Don't
She makes a playful gesture on Rusty's forehead.
touch me.
Mr. Lyons turns to Glinda so that she is facing him. He smiles.
You can touch me.
Glinda backs away from Mr. Lyons and continues. Mr. Lyons smells his fingers.
I can assure you that it is quite legitimate. Numerous clinical observations suggest that an individual visualizing an imagined scene reacts as though it were actually occurring. Therefore, induced images can have a profound effect on behavior. I am sure there is something about yourself you feel could use improvement. The usefulness of guided imagery techniques has been shown to be effective in helping individuals learn to control or modify behaviors such as mania and depression, addiction, displaced anger, even sexual disorders. And that's just to name a few. Well, now that you all seem to be a little more receptive, what do you say we give it a try?
I'm in.
I'm in.
Man,
Excellent. That enthusiasm will benefit you tremendously on the path to self-discovery.
You know, I used to spend a lot of time discovering myself, but it was staying on the path that was my problem. Yeah, before I knew it, my right hand would start to stray, due south. And then before long, my left hand would start to drift northeast and start to pinch my left nipple like this.
Yes, well, I'm sure
Oh,
Let's all just jump right in, shall we? Here, as you are directed to visualize a specific soothing environment, it is hoped that you will reach a higher state of calm and thusly a more centered sense of self. I will begin by asking you to close your eyes and relax your body.
sorry, one of mine. Olay.
Please stay focused. Now, get comfortable. Notice how your body feels.
Oh, yeah. I'm way ahead of you.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Does anybody want to switch seats with me?
No.
Focus. Make some slight adjustments to increase your comfort. Take a deep breath in.
Not me. That old bastard's ass stink is still hovering.
Oh.
Hold your breath for a moment and then breathe out, releasing tension. Breathe in again. And as you exhale, allow your body to relax slightly. That's it. Breathe. Very good.
this just isn't doing it for me. I'm used to having my visions induced chemically.
He starts to stand. His legs are shaky.
Oh, just stay seated and continue to breathe slowly, deeply. I'm sure if you give it a little longer, you'll find that you can relax. As you visualize the following scene, let your body become more and more sedate with each moment.
She helps Scarecrow back into his chair.
That's it. Ease on down. Ease on down.
Look, I'm really jonesing. Maybe if I could have just the...
Imagine yourself lying in a vast field of poppies.
Poppies? Did you say poppies?
Yes, poppies.
Do you know what they make from poppies? Opiates. Sweet, euphoric opiates.
A serene field of poppies bathed in the warm glow of the afternoon sun.
Stop
Scarecrow jumps
tormenting
up
me.
and
Where
grabs
are
Glinda.
they?
You must maintain your calm.
I am calm. Don't I look calm? Because I am calm. Now tell me where they are, you spiteful bitch.
No. We're just imagining. Imagining a soft field of white buds bobbing up and down and back and forth as a gentle breeze caresses each flower.
But where's the field?
Dotty stands, pulls Scarecrow away from Glinda, and then helps him back into his seat. He looks at her pathetically.
I need them. I really need them.
Oh, cram it, you whiny toothpick.
Fuck you, axhole.
Please stop arguing! You're losing the value of the process!
We're going to be the one to break the news. But we're more stressed now than we were when we came in. There's relaxed a single one of us.
I've never been with a midget before.
That's it. I'm done.
But really, you haven't given it a chance. Let's just start over. Guided imagery can work wonders, I promise.
Look, my friend here is in a lot of pain, and we need to get him to see Oz. We don't have time to...
But you're so close. His office is just down the hall and to the right. You're almost there. I'm sure you could spare a few more minutes to try.
I don't think so.
But...
Sorry. Should we wake him?
Leave him.
Oh, now it's leave him. If you would have listened to me in the first place, we wouldn't have... It. Come on, we might as well.
Rusty turns back to Dotty and the sleeping Mr. Lyons. He pokes Mr. Lyons in the stomach with the handle of his axe.
We're moving on.
Huh? What? Oh, she was right. That was relaxing, huh?
Come on, we're leaving.
Oh, wait, really? It can help. Just give it another try. I'm sure you'll see.
Dotty, Scarecrow, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons exit.
I know it works.
Glinda crosses back to one of the hospital chairs and falls heavily into it.
Here, as you are directed to visualize a specific soothing environment, it is hoped that you will reach a higher state of calm and thusly a more centered sense of self. I will begin by asking you to close your eyes and relax your body.
Fade to black. Act 1, Scene 8. Before the lights rise, the sound of bubbling is heard, followed by the voice of the Wicked Witch of the West Wing.
Oh, they are headed to the administrative offices, I'll say. What is their business there?
The lights rise on the laboratory of the Wicked Witch of the West Wing. There is a table covered with beakers and bottles containing different colored liquids. The table also contains a variety of pill bottles, a clipboard, a remote control, several books, and other medical paraphernalia. After a moment, Dr. Green, now the Wicked Witch of the West Wing, enters in a flourish.
The nature of my work here is far too sensitive to have anyone wandering these halls. And if their aim is to see the great Oz, as their direction would indicate, their business must be of significance. It would be foolish to dismiss it without looking into the matter. After all, I can continue my vital, albeit unconventional approach to medical research with the head of the facility looking over my shoulder. It is essential that I know what they know. The progress of medical science can neither be slowed nor stopped.
She looks off in multiple directions as if surveying the room before pausing to think.
Seems far too crucial an assignment to trust to any of these idiots. What choice do I have? The situation calls for immediate action.
She crosses to the table, picks up her clipboard, and looks it over.
Let's see. Who would be best suited for this task? Well, it might not be the brightest bulbs, but they will do in a pinch. We will start with subject number 081681, high dose anabolic steroid testing, designation grunt.
She points the remote control off stage and presses a button. The sound of a buzzer is heard, followed by the sound of a cage door unlocking and opening. Grunt enters. He is a hulking college student who has been treated with anabolic steroids.
Lovely. Next, we move on to subject number 121990, electroconvulsive therapy, designation twitch.
She points the remote control in another direction and presses a button. The sound of a buzzer is heard, followed by the sound of a cage door unlocking and opening. The sizzle of electricity is heard, accompanied by flickering light. Twitch enters. He's a wiry, energetic college student with a crouching posture who displays incessant tics and eerie giggles. He has multiple loose wires attached to his head.
But finally, subject number 052189, compound female hormone testing on the male, designation switch.
She points the remote control in a third direction and presses a button. The sound of a buzzer is heard, followed by the sound of a cage door unlocking and opening. Swish enters. He is a good-looking college student who has developed breasts and feminine mannerisms as a result of his treatments.
Love me.
All right, boys. In your case, I use the term loosely.
Meow.
I have a chore for you.
Chores? Today isn't good for me. I started my period after yesterday's dose. You know, everyone out of the water, the red tide's coming in. And the cramps, well, don't even get me started.
Skin's breaking out like crazy, and I think my dick's getting smaller. Is that normal?
Yeah! My brain's getting stuck in these, like, loops or something, and I can never remember what happened yesterday or Spit it out! The day before today.
Tomorrow, that voltage goes up.
Aw, that's not very nice. If you wait until tomorrow, he won't remember what needed to annoy you.
Swish begins to ruffle Twitch's hair sympathetically with one hand and is immediately shocked. He convulses.
Damn.
Enough! Now, pay attention, all three of you. You won't be paid for the tests you've been through, and then you'll have to drop out of your fraternity and get real jobs if you want to have beer money.
Honey, now that I have these puppies, I don't think I'll be paying for drinks ever again.
You listen to me, you feminine flake.
Relax, sweetie. We'll do whatever you need us to do. And what might that be exactly?
To protect my interests, I tapped into the main security cameras throughout this facility some time ago. There's a precautionary measure. An effective one at that. Will you stop it? My monitors have shown 4 individuals who seem to be moving, following the yellow tiles in an Oswardly direction. The leader appears to be a young girl.
Really?
Down, boy.
It may well be that she knows something of my experiments here. If the great Oz were to hear anything untoward about my work, it could prove bad for me. And what's bad for me is worse for you.
Now, you want us to stop them?
No, what I need you to do is to grab the girl, bring her here when they leave, so I can find out what she has told him.
But won't that be too late?
Well, perhaps not. You see, if I discover the girl has any knowledge of what some may consider my unethical experimentation.
You mean like the rhinoceros?
Yes, that would be one example.
Or your Siberian tigeroo!
Yes, also that.
What about the grizzly you and donkey you spliced?
How could I possibly forget the one that you refer to as my bare ass?
Oh, you heard that?
Oh, forget it! You're missing the point! What a refreshing change of pace. The unsanctioned testing here runs deeper than merely toying with a few lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, yes! And I cannot allow any of it to be uncovered should the great Oz decide to probe.
Oh!
Down, girl.
Grunt reaches out, places his hand on Swish's far breast, and pushes back into its previous position.
Oh, sorry.
Grunt looks at his hand, embarrassed. He mindlessly shifts his hand to the breast closest to him. Swish slaps it away.
Some fine-tuning here and there can make wonders for one's professional reputation. And if I know what the girl has told him, I can better prepare myself with a few creative adjustments to the records.
What about the other three?
Yes, what's to be done with her friends? You know I hate violence.
But he doesn't.
This is going to be fun.
Bring me the girl in short order, and there might be a bonus in your future.
All right, kicker!
Go, you dumb monkeys! Fly out of here and bring me that girl!
Grunt and Twitch quickly exit. A brief sizzle of electricity is heard.
You know, you're really stressed. I recommend taking some time for yourself. Maybe a nice, long massage. Okay, I'm going.
Swish quickly exits in the same direction as Grunt and Twitch. The Wicked Witch of the West Wing gestures as if indicating her monitors.
As for you, my fine lady, just try and stay out of my way. Just try.
Fade to black. End of Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1. The lights rise on the outer office of the Great Oz. Ms. Gates, the Great Oz's receptionist, sits at a small desk chewing gum and filing her nails. Dottie, Scarecrow, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons enter.
Excuse me.
Yay. Miss Gates, state your business.
I'm Dottie. Dorothy Gale.
Dorothy.
Not now. And we're hoping we might be able to get in to see. He wasn't actually saying this. The Great Oz. We only need a moment of his time.
Gail. Yeah, no, I don't see any Gail here. Do you have an appointment?
Well,
not even an appointment to make an appointment? I thought as much. The answer's gonna have to be no then. Oh, some days I really love this job.
Why can't we just go see him?
Listen, the Great Oz is a very busy man.
So I've been told.
Hey, this guy thinks he's hot shit, but we've got as much right to see him as anybody. So why don't you just let him know that we're here before things get ugly?
Rusty brings his axe down on Miss Gates' desk. She rises indifferently and moves toward him.
Let me make myself perfectly clear. The orders are, nobody can see the Great Oz. Not nobody, not no how. Now, why don't you just be a good little boy and put your balls away?
Rusty prepares to advance, but Mr. Lyons takes hold of his arm and pulls him back.
Oh, here, look, Junior, I think this calls for a little sweet talking, a little finesse. Watch and learn. Hey, baby. I'm sure a pretty little thing with cans like those can be reasonable. Huh? Why don't you double check that appointment book of yours and see if you can squeeze me into an opening?
Not nobody, not no how.
What? The day I take no from a woman,
Thanks.
Now it is Rusty who pulls Mr. Lyons back.
That lesson went by so fast, I didn't get a chance to take a single note. Maybe next time.
You said he'd see us. You promised.
I didn't promise anything. What I said was, if he couldn't help you, you'd be no worse off.
But Dottie, I feel worse. I feel a lot worse.
It's important that we see him.
Oh, important. Oh, you never mentioned that it was important. Why didn't you just say that in the first place? That's a horse of a completely different color.
Horse? You got horse? Look, I don't care what color it is. Give me a taste. Just a taste.
He lunges at her. Rusty puts one of his feet out and Scarecrow trips over it, falling flat.
Oops.
Look, it's always important. Everybody has some personal emergency. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to see to it that the Great Oz isn't bothered by every screwball, crackpot, and nut job that comes in that door. And believe me, no one gets past the gates. Now, if you'll just leave your names, I'll be happy to pass along the message.
Oh, sure. That's Scarecrow, 2 Ks.
The telephone on Miss Gates' desk rings. She answers it.
Yes, sir. Yes. On the camera?
She stares off as if looking at the security camera.
But sir, they don't have an appointment. Well, not even an appointment. Yes, I understand, but are you certain? Oh, forgive me, sir, but I don't think that I would advise. Yes. Yes, of course. I'll send them right in.
She hangs up the telephone and pauses for a moment. Rusty throws his axe over his shoulder and steps forward towards Miss Gates' desk, smirking.
Is there something you'd like to tell us?
The Great Oz will see you now.
What was that?
The Great Oz will see you now.
Damn right he will.
This way. Oh, wait, I forgot. Put these on.
Why do we need to wear these?
Policy.
Everything's green. I think I'm losing it.
It's just the glasses. See?
Dottie, Scarecrow, and Mr. Lyons exit. Rusty passes Miss Gates and then stops, smiling. He turns back, pulls a pencil from her hair.
Maybe you should put your balls away, you power-hungry little...
He snaps the pencil in half, but is interrupted by Dottie calling him from offstage.
Rusty, are you coming? Rusty!
Yeah, I hear you. I wanted to be nagged when I got hitched.
Rusty exits. Miss Gates picks up the 2 pencil halves from the floor, crosses back to her desk, sits, and then resumes filing her nails. Fade to black. Act 2, Scene 2. Green lights rise on the office of the Great Oz. Downstage is a small table with a green cloth over it. There is a green envelope on top of it. Dotty, Scarecrow, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons enter. Mr. Lyons looks around.
I don't see anybody.
Yeah, where is this guy?
Well, come in. Come in. I'm a very
Busy man. Yeah,
we know.
I am Oz, the great and clinical.
Someone has a high opinion of himself.
There's a loud
Who
roll.
are you?
Flashing lights.
I'm Dorothy. Gale.
I see. Dissociative identity disorder.
Huh? Oh no, I'm not Dorothy and Gale. Gale's my last name. That's Dorothy Gale.
Do you take me for an imbecile, girl? I know that. That was a little psychiatric humor. Loosen up.
We've come to ask.
Silence! This facility is well monitored. I have read your files. The great and clinical Oz knows why you have come. Step forward, Russell Tinneman.
Yo.
You dare come to me for help with your anger issues, do you? You petulant pile of pitiful bladed piercings.
Oh, you are fucking dead, old man. You hear me? Dead!
And you, Evan Grimm.
Yes, Your Honor?
You have the effrontery to ask me for help with your willpower, you morbid map of malignant markings.
I'd sure appreciate it, but hey, in the meantime, Mr. O, you wouldn't happen to have a little something to, tide me over, would you?
No!
There's a loud roll of thunder accompanied by flashing lights. Scarecrow scrambles back to Dotty, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons, dazed.
I think he likes me.
And you, Harold Lyons. Well?
Look, Oz, between you, me, and the wall, you know, we know what can happen to a man's courage when he starts getting up there in years. Am I right, huh? You know what I'm talking about. After all, you seem to be overcompensating just a hair. I mean, come on, is all of this really necessary?
Enough!
There is a loud roll of thunder accompanied by flashing lights. Mr. Lyons reacts to the noise by grabbing his chest and stumbling backward.
Give me a break! Are you crazy? 70% blockage over here, buddy. You're trying to drop me like a stone or what? Jeez.
We didn't come here to be intimidated and insulted. They just wanted your help, and I wanted you to send me home. Now, why did you call us into your office if you weren't going to—
Silence!
There is a loud roll of thunder accompanied by flashing lights.
The beneficent Oz has every intention of granting your requests.
Well, what's that? What'd he say? Huh? What'd he say? I think he blew up my goddamn eardrums.
But first, you must do something for me.
All right. I see where this is going. Which one do you want?
He points to Rusty.
I suggest him, if you like it rough.
Miss Gale, there is an envelope on the table in front of you. Take it.
There is a loud roll of thunder accompanied by flashing lights. Dotty picks up the green envelope.
You are to deliver this letter to the Wicked Witch of the West Wing.
Wicked Witch of the West
Wing.
Where do we find her?
In the Where in the hell do you think, you pallid pinhead? In the West Wing.
I'm nobody's errand boy. If you're not gonna help us, I'm out of here.
It's really no big deal. Not much to ask.
If it's no big deal, why doesn't he just do it himself?
Rusty, please.
Fine. But first, you have to show me your tits.
No.
It's really no big deal. It's not much to ask.
Yeah. Come on, be a sport, huh?
Oh, got your hearing back, did you? Nobody has to go if they don't want to. I'll go by myself.
I'll go. Prude.
What was that?
Nothing.
I thought so.
Does anyone else have bugs crawling under their skin?
Rusty
Off with
inhales
you!
deeply and then exhales sharply, knocking Scarecrow to the floor with a single blow. Scarecrow struggles to stand again.
Do not return to this office until you have delivered that envelope, and bring with you some measure of proof that you have done so.
Oh, she!
How will we know who she is?
Oh, you'll know.
Fade to black. Act 2, Scene 3. The lights rise on stage. Dotty, Scarecrow, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons enter.
So, now we have to find a witch.
Frankly, you two are all the Halloween I can handle.
Hey!
Dotty holds up the green envelope.
All we have to do is deliver this, and we'll get what we came for. That's simple enough, right? Oh, see? That sign says the West Wing is this way.
Dotty is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Grunt, Swish, and Twitch, each bursting on from a different direction. They surround Dotty, Scarecrow, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons.
I do believe we found what we've been looking for. Pardon us, boys, but we don't wish to make a scene. The Wicked Witch of the West Wing would like a word with this young lady. Give us the girl, and we can all just walk away.
Done!
There's no need to make trouble.
Oh,
But, as you can see, my friend here is more than willing to give it to you.
And I'm more than willing to cut him in half.
Baby doll, I don't recommend it. He's pumped up on more anabolics to punch out a...
rhinoceros.
You know, I really don't think she wants us bringing that up outside of the lab.
Oh, sorry.
Anywho, if you're looking to manhandle someone...
Don't.
And the tender touch of diplomacy fails. Grunt?
Grunt charges at Scarecrow and locks his arm around Scarecrow's throat. He then whips Scarecrow around like a rag doll.
Does anyone else see a gorilla, or am I still coming down?
Leave him alone!
Dotty rushes to help, but Swish grabs a handful of her hair and pulls her back.
I wouldn't if I were you.
Rusty tries to advance towards Scarecrow and Grunt, but Twitch blocks his path, bouncing and giggling. Grunt sends Scarecrow reeling across the stage with a single toss. He falls limply to the floor. Dotty runs to him and kneels by his side. Swish points at Rusty.
Twitch?
Me next! I want to play!
Scarecrow gets the big one and I get this? Give me a break. I'll scrape scarier things off my boot. What's so funny?
Metal! Lots and lots of metal!
What of it, you little basket case?
I like metal! The metal conducts!
Twitch jumps on Rusty. Rusty drops his axe. He screams and convulses before collapsing. Twitch straddles the fallen Rusty, giggling eerily.
I win! Not so tough now!
Rusty!
Dotty leaves Scarecrow's side and tries to reach Rusty, but Twitch leaps in front of her, causing her to stumble and fall. Mr. Lyons, distracted from the scuffle, does not see Swish approaching him from behind. Swish presses himself against Mr. Lyons, who immediately perks up as Swish sensually runs his fingertips up Mr. Lyons' arm. He whispers in Mr. Lyons' ear.
And what about you, big boy? See anything you like?
I don't swing that way, Buster, but those are pretty impressive.
Mr. Lyons begins to reach out for Swish's breasts. Grunt approaches Mr. Lyons from behind and brings his fist down hard on Mr. Lyons' head. Mr. Lyons collapses to the floor.
Come on, Swish.
Grunt crosses to the motionless Scarecrow. He grabs Scarecrow's ankle and lifts him partially off the floor.
Why'd you give me the bony one? I wanted to crack at him.
Grunt points at Rusty.
That would have been fun.
No doubt, but this isn't about you venting your pent-up energy. This is about being efficient and getting our hands on her. The guest of honor.
I'm not going
anywhere with you. Yes, cliche, but I'm afraid you are.
Grunt crosses to Dottie, puts his arm around her, and pulls her in close.
Would you ever go out with a guy like me?
What? No.
Why the fuck not?
Are you serious?
Oh, it's the acting, right?
Well, it doesn't help.
Yeah, I've been breaking out a lot lately.
Grunt, not now.
I'm a nice guy, you stuck-up bitch.
Nice!
Slow.
But nice!
Gently.
Twitch taps Dottie's head with a single finger. A brief sizzle of electricity is heard, accompanied by flickering light. Dottie collapses forward. Grunt catches her over his shoulder.
Feel better now?
Yeah.
Back to the lab then, you two. Let's not keep her waiting.
Swish and Grunt exit. Twitch scrambles after them. Blackout. Act 2, Scene 4. Before the lights rise, the sound of bubbling is heard. The lights then rise on the Wicked Witch of the West Wing's laboratory. This time, however, with the addition of a chair upon which rests the unconscious Dottie. Grunt, Twitch, and Swish surround her. The Wicked Witch of the West Wing is standing at her table with her back to them.
So, you've returned. It's my prize, no less. I've been observing the monitors, and I must say I have underestimated your resourcefulness.
Does this mean we get our bonuses then?
Bonuses? Did I say that?
Beer money, remember that?
Yeah!
Well, beer money for some. Personally, I'm gonna use mine to buy bigger bras. Your injections are making these things grow like crazy.
We'll see what the budget allows.
But you said...
Don't test me. Now, back to your cages. The three of you!
Grunt, Twitch, and Swish each exit in their respective directions. The Wicked Witch of the West Wing points the remote control in each of the three directions again. The sound of a buzzer is heard. The last buzzer is followed by the sound of the three cage doors closing and locking.
Oh, awake already.
Where am I?
As if you didn't know, you little sneak. This is the West Wing, R&D. Research and Development.
O and K? Wicked Witch, right?
To some, you little smart ass. Families are jealous who covered my discoveries. And others, Christian conservatives who would obstruct great strides in scientific research.
Paranoid.
If a touch of paranoia protects my works, then so be it! And you, what do you know of it? What have you told the great Oz of my experiments?
Nothing. Lady, I don't know anything about you or what you do here. I just wanted to see if Oz would approve my release from this place.
Then you're a patient here.
I suppose you could say that.
I could use a high-spirited young thing like yourself for testing.
I'm just here for my bipolar disorder, but I can handle it. I certainly didn't sign up for any tish stink.
Then maybe I'll sign you up myself. Yes, I'm sure I have something here I can start you on right away. Something for that tortured mind of yours.
No more drugs. No.
Is that the mania or the depression talking? Which shall we treat first?
Dottie! Dottie!
Hey, Dottie!
Donnie, where are you?
I'm in here.
There you
Scarecrow,
are, Faye.
Rusty, and Mr. Lyons enter.
Hey, did you find... Holy shit!
Oh,
falls to
you
the
could
floor.
not get me drunk enough to plow that.
Me? I'm not so picky.
The Wicked Witch of the West Wing hisses at him and takes a step back. Scarecrow comes to his feet. Dottie quickly crosses to join Scarecrow and Rusty.
More subjects. This has been a fruitful day. And now that I know my work is no longer in jeopardy, I am free to test a host of new medications and procedures.
Rusty holds up his axe. Scarecrow begins to shake from heroin withdrawal.
Do you really think you can force us to take anything?
Force you? Why, nothing of the sort.
She notices Scarecrow's shaking and crossing back to her table. She picks up a syringe and smiles at him.
You look like you're in a lot of pain, my raggedy friend.
She grabs Scarecrow by the wrist and pulls him toward her.
Scarecrow!
I bet those cold, empty veins of yours could use some warmth.
She holds up the syringe.
So, how about a little fire, Scarecrow?
Yeah!
No!
But I'm so cold.
We're leaving. All 4 of us.
Oh, we're awfully sure of ourselves, aren't we? You're not going anywhere.
The envelope. Did you give her the envelope?
Why, no,
What the hell are you waiting for?
Dottie reaches back after lifting up to her top to get the hospital pajamas, produces a green envelope from her waistband. She holds it out to the Wicked Witch of the West Wing.
Was ist das?
After looking at that face, I can tell you it's not the results of a pregnancy test.
He playfully punches Scarecrow in the arm. Scarecrow whines.
Ow! Dick!
I don't know, but it's for you. Oz told us to deliver it to you.
Oz.
She takes the envelope and slowly opens it. She pulls out a pink piece of paper and reads it aloud.
Your employment at this medical facility is hereby terminated based on the unlawful and ethically questionable research and testing which has been executed under your supervision. Unlawful and ethical. We sent you here to liquidate me? You are hereby ordered to vacate the premises immediately upon the receipt of this notice, and your personal effects will be sent to you. This is unbelievable. That a good little girl like you would. I have given some of the best years of my life to this facility. How could this happen? What a world!
She rips her photo identification badge off and throws it onto the floor.
What a world!
She exits in an uproar and a loud crash is heard from off stage.
Son of a bitch!
Well, I didn't see that coming. I guess we're through here?
But didn't the Great Oz say he wanted proof that you gave her the letter?
He'll have proof when she keys her name into the hood of his car.
Mr. Lyons points to the Wicked Witch of the West Wing's photo identification badge on the floor.
What about that? That ought to be good enough, right?
Dottie bends over to pick up the Wicked Witch of the West Wing's photo identification badge.
Let's go back to the office then and get what we were promised.
Okay, but I really need to stop at the bathroom first, okay? You know, the whole, Olay. Well, I'd like to see any of you hold it for that long. Oof.
He hurries off. Fade to black. Act 2, Scene 5. Green lights rise on the office of the Great Oz. Dottie, Scarecrow, Rusty, and Mr. Lyons are all standing on the stage. Each of them is once again wearing a pair of glasses with green lenses.
Can I believe my eyes? Why have you come back?
We've done what you told us. We delivered the envelope and brought back her identification badge as proof. So we'd like you to keep your promise.
There's a loud roll of thunder accompanied by flashing lights.
Not so fast, not so fast. I'll have to give the matter a little thought. Go away and come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow? But I want to go home now.
You've had plenty of time already, you lying sack of shit.
Do you presume to criticize the Great Oz?
There is a loud roll of thunder accompanied by flashing lights. Several folders and desk items fly out from behind a green curtain.
Think yourselves lucky that I'll see you tomorrow instead of 2 months from now. Now leave of your own accord, or I shall have to.
The Great Oz realizes that the illusion has been shattered.
I pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Who are you?
The great and clinical Oz. Ooh, the chief administrator.
Rusty interrupts the Great Oz by slamming his axe down upon the desk.
Well, you get the idea.
I don't believe you.
No, I'm afraid it's true. There's no one here but me.
You're a
very bad man, I know.
I was going to say a prick.
Yes, that too, I suppose.
But what was this ridiculous display of yours?
Well, I'm not a very formidable man, Mr. Lyons, and many people didn't used to take me seriously, but when Oz fell short, the Great Oz succeeded. When you deny the world accessibility and shroud yourself in mystery, people begin to think you're pretty important.
But why did you just send us to deliver that letter? Couldn't you have just done that yourself?
Why, no, I couldn't. Frankly, she frightens me. But I also couldn't allow her to continue those depraved experiments and risk legal troubles for the hospital, now could I? And the four of you seem so self-assured and headstrong that I thought, well, who better to rid me of her than you?
But what about the things you promised us, like helping me with my willpower?
Willpower? Why, my gaunt lad, I don't believe willpower is your problem at all. Everyone has some degree of it. What you lack is the little voice inside your head that tells you the difference between right and wrong.
Schizophrenia?
I was actually referring to common sense. It's that voice that would undoubtedly keep you out of trouble. However, since you have already seemed to have done some degree of damage, I'm going to recommend you for our methadone program.
Meth?
Methadone. A rather effective treatment for withdrawal and an excellent first step to setting you straight.
Look, it was just the one time, at least that I can remember. And I owed the guy money. What? Oh, I don't have a boner, do I?
Yes, well, there's more, my boy.
The Great Oz crosses to his desk and produces a thin booklet from one of his drawers.
I also want you to read this.
Just say no. A guide to surviving the exhilarating world of recreational drug use. Thanks.
Think nothing of it.
No worries there.
By the way, I wanted to ask you about your lighting and sound effects. They'd be a great addition to my show, and
Perhaps later.
Oz, about my problem.
Oh, that.
Come on, Oz. Don't leave me hanging. Put him up. Put him up.
Well, it should be simple enough to treat. Take one of these at least an hour before sexual activity. That should be just a thing to bolster your nerve.
Can you give me a few refills on that? I think I may need them.
I should warn you, however, Mr. Lyons, not more than one of those pills within a 24-hour period. The side effects?
Yeah, 4-hour period. Got it.
As for you, my forceful friend, you are not so quickly fixed.
Can't you just give me a fucking pill or something?
Oh, no. The fucking pill was for him.
Rusty is not amused. He grabs the Great Oz and pulls him in close so that they are now face to face.
For you, I must prescribe something far more intense. Ow, that looks like it hurts. Yes, you are a challenge. What you need to do now is find your heart. I'm sure it's there somewhere, despite your best efforts to bury it, and I have just the person who can help you.
The Great Oz crosses back to his desk and picks up his telephone. He pushes a button and speaks into it.
Miss Gates, is she here? Good. You may send her in. It may take a while, but if you are cooperative, I'm sure you'll overcome that hostility.
Glinda enters.
Ah, Glinda, I have a new patient for you.
Oh, no.
Yes. This young man is going to require some rigorous therapy.
I remember you, the one with the limitless aggression. Clearly, it stems from some deep-seated trauma.
Well, I did watch Pop kill Mom with the...
Oh, a turbulent childhood, of course. No youth should be subjected to that sort of environment. It's all right. You can trust me. Feel free to let it all out.
I'm fine.
Fine?
I just...
You just...
Daddy, no! She didn't mean to burn the casserole. Leave her alone. No, Daddy, no.
A complete breakdown.
what about Dottie?
Yeah, what about Dottie?
All I want is to go home. I know I'm sick, sir. I have my
A
good
violin
days.
version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz begins to play softly in the background.
I have my good days and my bad ones. But I know I can do better. I see now that I should appreciate how hard my Aunt Em and Uncle Henry are trying to help me and understand me. But I can't do that if I'm away from them. Please approve my release from here so that I can go home.
The Great Oz looks off as if deep in thought. Dotty turns to look at him and gauge his reaction to her speech. Then, without looking at him, she leans to one side and whispers to Scarecrow.
Is he buying any of this?
My dear, you have shown that you're quite capable of managing your disorder. I suppose it's safe to say that you have been held here long enough. But don't forget that you have a responsibility to yourself to know your limitations, and you should always be willing to trust those who love you and have your best interests in mind.
The Great Oz crosses to his desk and picks up his telephone. He pushes a button and speaks into it.
Miss Gates, can you bring the Gale file to me, please? Miss Gale, I will have this done faster than you can click your heels together 3 times.
Ms. Gates enters from the same direction as Glinda. She's carrying a file.
Thank you, Ms. Gates.
The Great Oz takes the file to his desk. He signs the file and then produces a large ink stamp. He holds the stamp and shows it off with a grandiose gesture, and then stamps the file with one bold stroke.
There you are. Approved for release. Now, don't go out and murder anyone now. No, really, don't. Well, once we get you dressed, you'll be free to go.
Dotty hugs the Great Oz.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. I'll actually miss you guys. Scarecrow,
She crosses to Scarecrow and hugs him.
Rusty.
She crosses to Rusty. He grabs her tightly, squeezing the air out of her and spins her around. He releases her. She crosses to Mr. Lyons, hesitantly.
Mr. Lyons.
Mr. Lyons throws his arms out and thrusts his hips forward, licking his lips expectantly, waiting for his goodbye.
Mr. Lyons.
Dotty reaches out, pats him on the shoulder, and then wipes her hand on the bottom of her hospital pajamas.
What? No love for lions?
No. Glinda?
Dotty turns and sees Miss Gates and addresses her coldly.
Gates.
This way, Miss Gale.
Ms. Gates begins to escort Dotty off in the same direction that she and Glinda entered. Dotty stops and turns back for one final look.
Aunt Em was right. There's no place like home.
Dotty turns again and exits after Miss Gates.
Well, she's going.
She's going.
She's going.
She's going.
Fade to black. Act 2, Scene 6. A pre-recorded track begins featuring the Oz transitional music from the end of Act 1, Scene 2, overlapped by the repeating, echoing voices of Scarecrow, Rusty, Mr. Lyons, and Glinda saying, "She's going, she's going, she's going." It also includes the intermittent sound of a small dog barking. The pre-recorded track fades into the voice of Dr. Oslin.
She's going! She's going! We're losing her!
The lights rise on Dotty's hospital room. She's writhing wildly on her bed while the Great Oz, now Dr. Oslin, tries to restrain her. He is dressed in standard hospital attire. Dr. Green stands by.
There's no place like a home. There's no place like a home. There's no place like home.
She's having a severe reaction. What is she being treated with?
I have on Cyclozil, doctor.
Cyclozil? You were told that no more patients were to be treated with that after the last time.
But I was certain that I could.
Get a nurse in here now. And doctor, don't go far. I need to have a word with you.
Dr. Green grimaces and then exits.
Hang in there, Dorothy.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
I know, dear. But I don't think you'll be leaving us anytime soon.
Fade to black. Curtain. End of play. Fiend.